Hi, Marie here from Pottery Crafters. I went to ClayCon West in St. George, Utah, and at the Mayco booth, I received a Stoneware glaze sample kit. It came with 2 engobes, 7 different glazes to try, and even a little sample bottle of kiln wash. Now, I've seen these glazes all by themselves on the internet, so I thought I'd have some fun with them and try different combinations to see how they layered and how they reacted to each other. I got some really interesting results that I'm going to share with you now. I used small bowls for the testing because the sample bottles are small too. And it's much better than using test styles. Plus, after I'm done experimenting, I can use the bowls. All the supplies used in this video are listed for you below in the show notes. Just a few tips before we get started. Before you start glazing, it's always best to make sure your hands are clean and dry. Or wear gloves. Clean the ceramic dust off the bisqueware that could interfere with the glaze application. I just wipe with a clean damp sponge. I'm applying film resist to the bottom of these bowls. You can also apply wax resist. Mix the glazes and the engobes well. And if there are any clumps, put it through a strainer. Keep in mind you can't put them through a strainer if they have any crystals or specks in them. I also received a few Mayco small brushes to try. Perfect for the size of these bowls I'm using to test out the glazes and engobes. The first combination is the black timber over the terracotta engobe. Starting with the terracotta for the base. I'm applying 2 coats on the outside. Engobes are a mix between a clay slip and underglaze. Apply the second coat. Then 3 coats on the inside. The engobe I have here is thinner than the underglaze and slip that I use. Apply the second coat. This engobe does go on smooth. Apply the third coat. I want to see if there's any difference between 2 coats and 3 coats. Let it dry. Now apply the black timber over the terracotta, applying 3 coats on the inside and 3 coats on the outside to see how it sits over the terracotta engobe. I'm only going halfway down so I can see the terracotta also. Apply the second coat. Instead of brushing it on, I'm actually patting it on to ensure I get a thicker coating. Apply the third coat. This is a really interesting glaze because it's made to flow. It contains crystals that are meant to melt and move during the firing. So by patting it, I'm not moving the crystals around as much. I'm excited to see how much movement I'll get. Now remove the film resist, fire to cone 6, and see how it turned out. On the inside, you can see how the black timber started to flow, but not that much. It created beautiful dark and light browns with a metallic look that frames the terracotta base. The outside turned out the same. The crystals within the glaze did melt down to create a rich molted texture, but also stopped at the glaze line. By patting the glaze on rather than brushing, I got that heavy, dramatic break where the browns meet the orange. I like how it turned out. The next combination is green jasper over terracotta. Starting with the terracotta engobe, applying the same coats as the last combination. 2 coats on the outside. Apply the second coat. This engobe does go on smooth. And 3 coats on the inside. These englobes are non-toxic, but they have a matte porous surface. Apply the second coat. To make them truly dinnerware safe and easy to clean, you'll need to add a food-safe top coat. And apply the third coat. Let it dry. Now apply green jasper over the terracotta. I wanted to see how the green jasper interacted with the terracotta base. I'm applying 2 coats of the green jasper, but instead of the standard brush stroke, I'm combining a gentle brushing and patting to get a thicker, better coverage. I only glazed halfway down because the green jasper is a flowing glaze. Apply the second coat. I never use these glazes, so I don't know how they'll turn out. The crystals should melt and travel down during the firing. So I left that room at the bottom to give the glaze space to move without running off the piece. And it's a great way to see the terracotta contrast against the green jasper. Now remove the film resist and fire to cone 6. And let's see how it turned out. The green jasper over the terracotta created a completely different look. By brushing and patting those 2 thick coats on, but only going halfway down, you can see how the crystals in the glaze loves to move. But the glaze didn't flow down the inside or the outside, which is something good to know when you're using this combination. The crystals did melt and flow, creating these beautiful green mossy streaks with a touch of blue on the white glaze. I think it contrasts nicely against the raw orange of the terracotta. On the outside, the effect is the same. You get the nice rich colors that feather down also and stop at the baseline of the glaze. So you know the glaze won't flow all the way down to the base of your pot. But leaving that room halfway down unglazed shows the terracotta contrast. The next combination is mint speck over terracotta. Starting with the terracotta engobe, same as the last 2 combinations, except I'm painting only 1 coat of the terracotta on the bottom of this bowl. Because it's clay-based and doesn't contain glass melters, it won't stick to the kiln shelf. Applying 2 coats of the terracotta on the outside. I never used engobes before. Apply the second coat. Now 3 coats on the inside. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Let it dry. Now applying the mint speck over the terracotta. I'm doing 2 coats on both the inside and outside. Unlike the previous 2 glazes, this one is much more stable. Apply the second coat. Even at cone 6 firing, these specks should stay exactly where you put them. It says they don't flow or run. Fire to cone 6 and see how it turned out. You can see the speck stayed perfectly in place. However, looking at the coverage, I could have used at least another coat. Because I only applied 2 coats, the finish is a bit thin in some spots, allowing more of the terracotta to show through, more than I intended. This is the bowl I applied 1 coat of the terracotta engobe on the bottom. Didn't stick to the cookie, except this is something to keep in mind. The terracotta did transfer a little color onto the cookie, so if you do apply it on the bottom, I would suggest using a cookie. If I were to do this again, I definitely would go with the 3rd coat, maybe even a 4th, to get more solid, opaque mint base with the beautiful colored specks. The next combination is Aqua Gloss over Sparkle Black Engobe. Starting with the Sparkle Black for the base, I'm applying 2 coats to the outside. Apply the second coat. Now this engobe gets shimmery metallic specks right in the engobe. Then 3 coats on the inside. This engobe goes on thin, but it seems to cover really well. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Let it dry. When the engobe is almost completely dry, gently rub your finger over the surface to really bring out the metallic sparkles. Important tip. This process does kick up a bit of clay dust, so make sure you're wearing a dust mask before you start rubbing. This step is important if you want the sparkles to shine through the engobe. You can see how they're shining through. And you can see the difference between the one that I have already rubbed and the one that I haven't yet. Let it dry. Now applying the Aqua Gloss over the Sparkle Black. I'm doing 2 coats on both the inside and outside, and I'm only glazing halfway down. Apply the second coat. I really want to see the metallic specks from the black engobe. I'm curious to see how the color shifts where the glaze meets the Sparkle Black. Now I'll remove the film resist and fire to cone 6. Let's see how it turned out. Just look at that contrast. By glazing only halfway down, we get to see this sharp, clean break between the glossy turquoise of the Aqua Gloss and the raw matte texture of the Sparkle Black. And you can see how the black sparkles on the engobe. The Aqua Gloss is so smooth and vibrant on the top, but then it gives way to that deep night sky finish on the bottom, like stars in the sky. Because I rubbed the engobe before firing, it creates a 2-tone look that highlights both the stability of the gloss and the unique sparkle in the engobe. The next combination is green jasper over Sparkle Black. Starting with the Sparkle Black engobe, applying the same coats as the last combination. 2 coats on the outside. Apply the second coat. 3 coats on the inside. You could replace slip with this engobe. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Then let it dry. Rub the engobe before it dries completely. Then let it dry completely. Now applying the green jasper over the Sparkle Black. On this bowl, I decided to only apply 1 thick coat of the green jasper. Just like the terracotta, I kept the glaze halfway down the piece, giving it plenty of room to flow. I'm patting it on heavily to make sure that even with just 1 layer, there's enough glaze for those crystals to activate. Remove the film resist and fire to cone 6. Let's see how it turned out. Even with just a single thick layer of the green jasper, the reaction is incredible. The glaze crystals melted beautifully, creating these vibrant colors. The deep blue, white, green. It pooled nicely, but didn't run down the engobe. You can hit the like button anytime during this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to get notified whenever a new video comes out. Because I only went halfway down, you do get the dramatic organic edge, where the high gloss meets the texture of the Sparkle Black. You can see by patting it on thick, I gave those crystals a chance to melt and move to create a rich multicolored look. It's amazing that I got this much depth and character from just one thick coat. The next combination is mint speck over sparkle black. I'm starting with the sparkle black Engobe, painting only one coat of the sparkle black on the bottom of this bowl. Applying 2 coats of the sparkle black on the outside. Apply the second coat. Now 3 coats on the inside. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Rub the Engobe before it dries completely. Then let it dry. Now apply the mint speck over the sparkle black. I'm applying 2 coats of the mint speck. I decided to cover the entire inside of the bowl this time. Apply the second coat. I'm curious to see if 2 layers will be enough to give that solid mint color, or if that black Engobe is going to pull through and darken the final look. And only 1 thick coat on the outside rim. Fire to cone 6. Let's see how it turned out. The glaze did end up more translucent than I thought it would. The specks are still there and look nice, but the coverage is definitely on the thin side. If I'm using this combination again and want that true mint color, I have to be much more generous with the layering. I'll definitely need 3 or even 4 coats. As you can see, the bottom didn't stick and didn't leave much black on the cookie. I can see the sparkles, but keep in mind I only applied 1 coat. To give you a real baseline of this glaze, here's how just 2 coats of the mint speck look on white clay. The difference is night and day. On the white body, the 2 coats are more than enough to give you a bright, colorful mint color, and the specks are very colorful. And the coverage does look more even and opaque because the glaze isn't fighting the dark base. It really shows that while 2 coats are perfect for lighter clays, you would need 3 or 4 layers if you're working over a darker Engobe or even clay. The next combination is mint speck over tropical teal. Starting with 2 coats of tropical teal on the outside. Apply the second coat, then 2 coats on the inside. Because I'm applying the mint speck, I'm only applying 2 coats. Apply the second coat. The tropical teal is considered to be a stable glaze, making it a safe choice for vertical surfaces or applying near the bottom of a piece. Let it dry. Then followed by 1 coat of the mint speck. I'm doing this to see how the specks sit on top of the glaze base. By using only 1 coat of the mint speck, I'm hoping to get just enough of those colorful specks to add some texture without completely washing out the deep tropical blue-green of the teal underneath. Remove the film resist, fire to cone 6, and let's see how it turned out. It turned out great. I like how the teal and the mint blended together to create a deep green and has different shades in it. White, blue, and even a touch of orange. It looks like those tiny specks moved with this glaze base, adding some nice little pops of color throughout the bowl. It's good to know that even though the specks did flow in the glaze, it didn't flow down the outside. It stopped halfway down, but the specks still melted. You can see the streaks. Still looks pretty cool. Now if you apply a few more coats, it may flow more. The next combination is green jasper over sage gloss. Starting with sage gloss, applying 2 coats to the outside. Apply the second coat. This is a stable glaze. Then 3 coats on the inside. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Let it dry. Then applying one good coat of the green jasper on top. Even though the sage is stable, I still don't know exactly how much the green jasper is going to flow. To play it safe, I'm only patting one coat on thick. I am curious to see if the stable sage base helps hold the jasper in place, or if those crystals still find their way to move. Remove the film resist, fire to cone 6, and let's see how it turned out. Combining the stable sage gloss with that one thick padded coat of green jasper, the sage gloss did stay in place, giving a solid smooth green base on the bottom of the bowl. But the green jasper definitely wanted to move. Even with just one coat, you can see how it floated down, creating beautiful dark green streaks against the white and sage color. I like the look of the green jasper crystals on this sage gloss glaze. The next combination is green jasper over milk glass. I'm applying 3 coats of the milk glass to the outside. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. 3 coats were actually the recommended amount to get the right look. Applying 3 coats to the inside. I'm curious to see if the 3 layers will give me a nice solid milky finish. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Let it dry. Now applying the green jasper over the milk glass. I'll gently brush and pat 2 coats of the green jasper, going only halfway down the bowl. Apply the second coat. Remove the film resist, fire to cone 6, and let's see how it turned out. The results of this combination are really surprising. It turns out that the milk glass actually helped the green jasper move. I had no idea how much the milk glass would help the green jasper flow. If I had known it would have been this reactive, I probably wouldn't have applied 3 coats to the outside. But as you can see, even with the extra coat, the glaze didn't flow off the bowl. It stopped right at the bottom lip. It created these beautiful streaks of green and soft blue that fan out across the white base. Because the milk glass is so light, it really lets these colors from the green jasper crystals shine through. It almost looks like a starburst effect. The next combination is black timber over milk glass. Starting with the milk glass, I'm applying the same coats as the last combination. 3 coats on the outside. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. I don't think this is a flowing glaze, so I'm taking a chance with 3 coats on the outside. Then 3 coats on the inside. Semi-transparent glazes do interact well with other glazes. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Let it dry. Now applying the black timber over the milk glass. I'm dabbing 2 coats and only going halfway down. I'm staying with the plan to dab it on nice and thick to see what happens. Apply the second coat. I'm really curious to see how this dark glaze will turn out on the white background. Remove the film resist, fire to cone 6, and let's see how it turned out. This one turned out absolutely stunning. It's clear how the milk glass base completely changed how the top glaze behaved. Even though I only dabbed on 2 coats of the black timber halfway down, The milk glass pulled the color all the way to the bottom. Instead of staying dark and solid, the black timber broke into these incredible deep blue and smoky streaks. You can see the brown and the white even flowing down. Beautiful, which creates a really cool effect. It just goes to show that when you layer over the milk glass, you're going to get a lot of movement and some really rich looking colors. The next combination is black timber over aqua gloss. I'm starting with the aqua gloss, brushing 2 coats on the outside. Apply the second coat. It does brush on smooth. Now brushing 3 coats on the inside. This glaze is known for a solid coverage without running or blurring. Apply the second coat. Apply the third coat. Let it dry. Now applying the black timber over the aqua gloss. I'm dabbing 2 coats of the black timber just halfway down. Apply the second coat. Since the aqua gloss is so stable, I'm curious to see if the black timber will stay put in a thick band around the top, and if the 2 coats will have enough weight to start sliding down onto the aqua. Remove the film resist, fire to cone 6, and let's see how it turned out. Looking at the bowl, you can see how the black timber reacted over the aqua gloss base. It didn't flow or create long streaks. Instead, it stayed around the top half of the bowl. The black timber actually turned out quite earthy and brown where it met the aqua, and created a more textured looking border. It really shows how much the base glaze matters, but it still has beautiful tones of brown and black and green, even a bit of gold. I like the contrast. I'm glad I could give you some ideas and adjustments that you could make. I had no idea the difference would make with the milk glass. I really love the flow on both the green jasper and the black timber. I was surprised at the blues that came out of the black timber. Pretty cool. Whether you'd like stable or flowing, these glazes give you a good variety. And the black timber was totally different over the terracotta. I found that quite interesting, but it's something good to know when you want to glaze. This really proves that the base that you choose is just as important as the top layer. My favorite is the black timber over the sparkle black engobe. What's your favorite combination? Let me know in the comments section below. I'll be interested to find out which one or ones you like the best. You watching helps me to make more videos, like this one. Now head on over to my 7 glaze combinations to try video, or how to make a clay basket video. If you do, I get to play with more clay. Let's stay dirty